5%, it's still a lot. And it still pays on the interest. Hold on. It still pays on the interest of our deficit and debt. But it needs to be the same amount. And I think that the Democrats, socialists, want to input policies where there's no more loophole and they have to pay, not raise, pay the fair tax rate that we pay and have no loophole to get out of it so that it can actually go back into the country.
Yeah, I mean, but I think what you're talking about is effective tax rate. So if I have three businesses, one business makes $10 million, another business loses $10 million, and then I have a third business that happened to clear $50,000, right? It's like, okay, I'm now in the 22% or even the 12% tax bracket because I actually only had $30,000, $40,000 in net income. So it's not a loophole. I mean, I just use the word loophole. It's just tax code that all of us need to take advantage of. So technically, if I have two real estate properties and I'm making $10 million in one and the other I lose $11 million, I effectively have negative cash flow. I didn't earn any income for the year, right? Or if I only earned $50,000 out of that, you'd say, how does this make sense? This guy earned $10 million off this one property. He's only paying, 3, 4, 5% tax. But what you're not taking into account is the incredible loss I had in the other investment. So they use numbers to make you think the rich aren't paying their fair share. I assure you that it all makes sense. It's the same tax code that you or I could benefit from, even though we're not wealthy.
So you said, like in 2016, where Trump amassed, I think it was $500 million, $542 billion or something like that, and he paid $600 in taxes. You say that somehow that's fair, or somehow when it came out in the wash, with the loopholes and the way he was able to get around it. And there's other. I'm not saying.
Othello, you probably spend more time talking about Trump's taxes than you do washing your own clothes, dude. You're pathetic, bro. Get a life. Go wash your clothes. Go to the gym. Read a book. I mean, do you really think talking in a forest when the tree lands and no one hears it, like you made any difference in the forest of trees falling? No, bro. Listen, your character that you're playing here, what's the name of that character? Wesley Snipes. Oh, Wesley Snipes was a tax evader, and he went to prison because his dumbass thought he didn't have to pay money on the Blade movies. That's how stupid that dumb motherfucker was. He fucked around and found out, Othello. And the African-American communities of America in all sanctuary cities, guess what they do on Taxpayer Appreciation Day? They line up because none of them are in compliance. They have something wrong in their fucking heads across the whole country. Oh, I don't know how to pay my taxes. I never heard of TurboTax yet. I never heard of fucking all the other tax software corporations. I don't got to pay my taxes. Why is that, Othello? That's my question for you. You ask a lot of questions. So I just want to know, this is my question. Why don't African Americans come into compliance and pay their taxes, Othello? Please answer that question. I am complete.
I pay my motherfucking taxes every year.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's projection. Let me get the projection mirror out. The projection activation detection system has been activated. Number 1, trash. TRASH. Trash.
Trolling? Okay, so if you just look at, they have the figures for that. I don't even know why this is a conversation. You can look at the amount that African Americans pay.
Wait, Othello, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, I know. But one more thing, you can also look at the amount that illegals pay in taxes every year. I think it's in the billions as well. Go ahead, James.
So Othello, let's say I bought Bitcoin. I'm not even wealthy. I bought Bitcoin in 2010. I got 10,000 Bitcoin for $100. Now I'm sitting on, let's just say, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Okay? Now I'm a billionaire, but I don't owe any tax yet. I'll owe tax when I sell the Bitcoin. Now let's say instead of selling the Bitcoin, I say I can take a loan on 10% of the Bitcoin for $100 million bucks, someone's going to give me a loan because they looked at my asset and they said they'll take on that risk and give me a loan. I don't have to pay tax on that loan because it's an obligation. It is an income, right? So the most times people get upset with rich people is they took incredible risks to create assets that have value, which aren't taxable until they dispose of said asset. But if they can find an institution that will loan them money on that asset, that's tax-free. It's a loan. You owe money on that loan. I got to pay interest on that loan. They can call that loan at any point in time. My asset could go down, etc. What you're probably seeing is wealthy people creating equity through capital appreciation and then taking loans on those assets, which shouldn't be taxed. And you and I can do the same. We could do that with assets worth $50,000 and get a loan against it. You don't need to be worth hundreds of millions. So that's how wealthy it can look like they're not paying tax on income, but what that really just means is they don't have much income in that year, but they could have a lot of other things going on, right?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
And I'll tell you, I think everyone pays taxes, including Black Americans, but what Kitover is probably referring to is low income, earned income credits with dependents, etc. You can have people that make $16,000 and leave with $16,000 of refunds. You know what I mean? Because of all the credits and benefits that the system tries to provide to, a head of household, mother with 3 kids, who actually is earning something. They'll give her lots of money back. But if there was a tax obligation, they would pay, but that's in the tax code. Any taxpayer that can meet those qualifications will qualify and get the earned income credit, which is unbelievably high in some scenarios. I've seen it myself.
Yeah, that's where we can go into the big beautiful bill and what that cuts and how it gives certain tax breaks to 1%. I don't want to go down that road because it could definitely lead there and then we can dissect it.
Yeah, so I think ultimately though, like, Americans could get on board with having a simplified tax code. And I think that there's a lot of Americans that just don't understand. I mean, it is pretty lengthy, and it's certainly government officials that pass this choosing winners and losers on who they reward and don't in society. Tax code has always been used this way as well, so it's nothing new, but it literally is just platitudes, political platitudes saying pay their fair share, and the rich are cheating the system. Because it's not. It's the same tax. I think ultimately it's the same tax code we all fall under. Is G's point, his larger point here. So, but Othello, would you agree that maybe we could have a more simplified approach to taxes?
He doesn't answer questions. He can only ask questions. That's the type of agent provocateur he is. The truth is the tax code's fucked. That you got to go to work for 2 days a week just to pay the taxes. And my biggest complaint is that our government funds the Medicare, Medicaid industrial complex, the hospital and insurance and big pharma industrial complex. So why should I have to go to work to supplement that entire industry? Then we get back to objective ethics and Ayn Randiism about separation of state and economy, and we see that we have a completely artificial economy. We have doctors and lawyers and healthcare executives essentially parasiting off of our national deficit. And as a voter, as a politician, as an American, as a libertarian, someone who believes in separation of state and economy, which is a real economy, which is not an artificial government borrowed fiat currency economy, it's it's ethics, it's morals, it's laws. And unfortunately, we have parasites and people who are just kicking the can down the road infinitely, eternally. And as a libertarian, someone, as an American patriot, we all have to wake up and say, hey, morals and ethics starts with our dollars. And if you look at a dollar, it says, in God we trust. But we also know that what we're doing is madness, but we're getting away with it because the world runs on debt and the whole world creates debt. And look, we just bailed out Japan for 10 billion. And the United States, I just read something this morning. It's just, Trump has taken interest in like 10 to 15 corporations. So we do live in this state-run economy that we can't. It's not that we can't seem to get out of it. It's that we never will get out of it because that's what it is. We've created an artificial economy, and because we have the biggest military on the planet, we can defend our artificial economy against intrusion. But if there's a book, it's called The Practical Necessities to Demand Everything, The Right to Be Greedy. It says, in the end, we weren't greedy enough. So if we're 40 trillion in funded debt and 100 trillion in unfunded debt, and you total all the states and all the cities, it's over $200 trillion in debt. And we have to service that debt with interest payments. AI says that as interest payments continue to expand, core services will decline in all major cities. Now, I think core services already are total bullshit. Building a $75 million community center in a black neighborhood because of reparations, then people are doing drugs outside of it and nobody can even use the facility, let alone now you've created a whole nother fucking bureaucracy of security to run that facility, and then non-NGO programs and coordinators and counselors. It's all artificial. We have to learn how to run a pizza shop, how to run a business. If our government can't provide that simplistic formula of a profit, we are a banana republic. And honestly, I want to move to Norway and marry a 6-foot blonde with a $500,000 national surplus individually. So, good luck, suckers. Continue to let the Democrat pluralist, parasite, liars and thieves and scammers and retard faggots just bullshit you on this app and waste all your time. It's a total waste of your time to listen to faggot retards here. I am complete.
What's up, Richard?
What's up? I never got an answer, Othello. Othello, did you agree that we should have a more simplified tax code so more Americans could grasp it easier?
Yes. Sorry, I'm in the midst of doing household things, but I'm listening to that, and I enjoy the conversation. I just feel like we were jumping around too much to sanctuary cities and African Americans, so I just wanted to hone it in.
No, it's good. I think as Americans on both sides of the aisle, we should be asking for a more simplified approach to paying taxes. Because the thing I hate about our society is the more they make it more complex, it requires us to have to hire specialists to do a job, right? I have to hire a specialist to do my taxes when I should just be able to literally fill it out on a postcard. Now, this was a talking point by the Republicans for years that they failed to ever deliver on. One of their platitudes they would sell Republican voters is, we're going to make it so simple to pay your taxes, you can pay it on a postcard or this a 3x4 note card or whatever. And it's always just platitudes. And the same thing, the reason I bring this up is the same thing that is being spouted about, pay their fair share. We need to help hold those rich accountable and pay their fair share. And it's just platitudes. Like, let's not get caught up into it. We should, as the peasant class, because that's ultimately what we are. Don't think of yourself any higher. We are the peasant class. We should be demanding a less complex society where we don't have to hire specialists to do simple things.
Well, speaking of democratic socialists and tax cuts and things, how do you feel about the Republican movement to totally eliminate property tax?
That's a great idea. Great idea, fellow. Great question, too. I knew you were going to ask a question.
I read a book on
Ultimate.
this.
Go ahead.
The main way to eliminate the complexity is to eliminate.
Wallace, he asked me a question. Are you saying taxing billionaires reduces crime?
Yeah, like what if they really take that money, right, and put it into the communities, put it, into the mental health of the communities. We see Trump already.
You think $20 billion is enough to eliminate evil in the human brain? You think so in society?
Well, I'm gonna just combine a few things. We see Trump. He rolled back regulations on Iboga, right? So obviously, there's this seed of an idea to target mental health through these plants, through these medicines, and then you have the DSA and their movements where they want to tax the rich and put it into systems and programs that go towards helping and healing the community. What if you can see your money working in that way to where this becomes a safer and more sturdy, more mentally balanced nation? What would you say to that?
So my opinion is that more money that you actually take from the public, I don't think they have a funding issue. I think the government's already getting enough money through taxes. It's just their choice of how they spend it. I'm sure Mamdani will try and link what his increase in tax rate. I don't know if all that stuff has gone through yet, but let's use what California's example, right? What is stopping Newsom now for taking what they've already spent multiple millions on homelessness, and it's only gotten worse. So I think it's really more the effectiveness of government than it would be getting more money from people. That's just my opinion. So Wallace, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just going to add before he chimed in that those plans always lead to rationing. And once we start rationing, then crime will definitely go up. And I was just curious how it's going to be done different than it has been done in history, where it won't end up in rationing and all of us fighting over stuff.
Well, that's the beauty of what we're looking at right now. We're going to see what works and what's just a pile of shit.
But history's already told us what's a pile of shit. So we don't really have to do these exercises to know what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to see it regardless. You know what I mean? All eyes on NYC.
Oh, great. This is wonderful.
All eyes on Michigan. And we're going to see in real time what works. And we're going to look at the data and look at the numbers and go from there.
Yeah, something that's fascinating about politics is that there are no new ideas. I just want to point that out. There's nothing new in the last 150 years that hasn't already been thought of with the type of political policies that hasn't already been tried or thought of. What happens in politics in our lifetime right now is it's just rebranded ideas. It's like, it's going to work this time because I'm in office. And we will see. We will get to see if it's any different than how socialism has been tried for many, many years. It's just really this idea that elected officials have a better sense of how to organize society than the people themselves. And ultimately what we're doing is we're giving up our